Have you ever felt wounded or furious because of something someone said? Perhaps a companion ridiculed you, maybe your supervisor used sharp words, or someone left your message unanswered and suddenly your entire spirit sank. Yet here is a profound truth. No person can force anger upon you unless you allow it. There once lived a man who grew enraged at nearly every situation and every individual. But one encounter completely reshaped his existence. This is his tale, and it might well be yours too. Long ago, in a quiet settlement nestled beside the hills, there resided a man called James. James was known for just one quality: his rage. If his spouse neglected to season the meal properly, he roared. If livestock strayed into his crops, he erupted. Even when youngsters chuckled nearby, he bellowed, "Can you not remain silent for a single instant?" James was convinced the outer world caused the trouble, never himself. His wife Mia frequently murmured gently, "James, why do you permit these minor matters to master your temper?" James retorted sharply, "Folk must acquire proper conduct. If they fail to honor me, how am I supposed to stay composed?" He never grasped that by responding this way, he was surrendering his inner calm to everyone around him. One warm morning, a monk reached the settlement. He dressed in plain white garments and his expression remained tranquil like motionless water. He settled under a large banyan near the village well. Villagers murmured, "He utters very few remarks, yet those words sank deep into the soul." One afternoon, Mia suggested, "James, go converse with the monk. Perhaps he might assist you." James chuckled, "What lesson could a monk offer me? He never faces foolish individuals the way I must." The following day, while James labored in his plot, a neighbor's child unintentionally shattered one of his implements. James lost all restraint. He yelled so intensely that birds scattered in fright. The child fled home in tears. That night James sat by himself, his heart still smoldering. "Why do I always feel worse after I have yelled?" he murmured. Sleep refused to come. Before dawn he walked toward the banyan. The monk sat motionless, eyes shut, attentive to the early birdsong. James remained standing awkwardly, uncertain how to begin. At last he said, "Monk, I am worn out. People provoke my anger and I cannot halt it." The monk opened his eyes and smiled softly. "Sit, my companion." The monk inquired, "When a person stirs your anger, how long does that emotion linger?" James considered briefly, sometimes an hour, sometimes the whole day. "And once the anger finally dissolves," the monk continued, "how do you feel?" James exhaled, hollow, weary, sorrowful. The monk nodded, "Precisely. Anger consumes the one who carries it, not the one toward whom it is aimed." The monk lifted a cup of water. "This water stays still, yet if I agitate it, you can no longer perceive your own reflection. That is the effect anger produces upon the mind. When it is agitated, reality vanishes." James asked, "So must I stay mute when others offend me?" The monk smiled. "No, learn to answer rather than react. A vast difference exists between the two. When someone hurls mud at you, you may either seize it or move aside. The decision always belongs to you." The next morning the monk requested James to fetch a vessel of water and a fistful of sand. "Now heat the water until it boils," instructed the monk. As the water seethed, he asked, "Can you place your hand in it now?" James answered, "No, it is far too scorching." That explained the monk is anger. When feelings boil, calm becomes unreachable. He scattered sand into the vessel. The grains cloud the water. That is what occurs inside the mind when you react. After transferring the water into a basin, they waited. Gradually the sand sank and the water grew transparent once more. This, the monk observed, is what takes place when you cease reacting. The mind grows quiet, clarity returns. James remained silent, understanding he had been heating his own water for many years. During the following days, James trained himself in composure. Whenever anyone provoked him, he paused and recalled the monk's counsel. "Step aside, do not seize the mud." It proved difficult. Old patterns resisted. One afternoon, a trader attempted to deceive him in the marketplace. James sensed his anger ascending. He longed to shout, yet halted. He drew a deep breath and stated evenly, "I shall purchase from an honest seller." He departed. For the first time he experienced serenity instead of triumph. That night he slept profoundly. Then arrived the genuine trial. One morning several youths taunted him in the settlement. "Look, the furious fellow now imagines himself a holy man," they jeered. James felt the warmth rise once more. His hands tightened, his thoughts demanded, "Prove to them who you are." Then he remembered the monk's tone. "When you react, you surrender your strength." James paused, smiled, and replied, "You are correct. I once lived in anger, now I am discovering something finer." Puzzled, one youth asked, "How can you remain composed while we insult you?" James answered, "When someone presents you with poison, you need not swallow it." They grew quiet. James walked away in tranquility. Weeks went by. Mia observed the transformation. James no longer raised his voice. He smiled more often. Even when matters went awry, he stayed steady. One morning he returned to the banyan and bowed. "Master," he said, "I have grasped the truth. People never governed my anger, my own mind did. Now I select peace rather than suffering." The monk smiled. "Life will continue to examine you. Each time you remain calm, you become stronger." James inquired, "Will people ever cease testing me?" The monk laughed lightly. "When the tempest realizes you no longer flee from it, it stops pursuing you." Years afterward, James grew renowned as the most serene man in the settlement. Folk approached him seeking guidance. He always remarked, "Peace is not discovered in outer quiet, but in quiet within." One day a small boy asked Uncle James, "Do people still try to anger you?" James smiled. "Sometimes they attempt it, yet when you stop reacting, their influence vanishes. You cannot command the wind, but you can learn to navigate." Gazing toward the hills, he said, "When I ceased reacting, I truly started living." We cannot prevent people from speaking unkindly. We cannot prevent difficulties from arising, but we can refuse to grant them the power to rob our peace. Every reaction is a decision. Every moment of calm is power. The person who masters his reaction masters his existence. So the next time someone seeks to unsettle your peace, smile and murmur, "I will not seize the mud." You may not govern the world, yet you can govern how you answer it. Genuine strength is not shouting in return. It is remaining peaceful when the world attempts to unsettle you.